morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the second edition of Financial Express Travel Summit Meghalaya. Last year, when we had assembled here, our theme was sustainability, sustainable development, and sustainable tourism. And this year, the topic is adventure tourism. And there's a rationale behind this sequence because we are saying sustainability is more important than everything else in tourism that we do. And if we do not create sustainable tourism, whether it's adventure, whether it is other forms of tourism, then it will probably not grow and it will not have the community support that is needed for an industry like this to grow. And in the panel we just discussed that under tourism and over tourism both are not good and not viable. So that's why we had chosen sustainability as the starting theme. And this year we thought we'd talk about adventure tourism. Now I don't come from the industry, so my perspective is that of a consumer. So what does adventure tourism actually mean to an individual? I think for any individual, adventure tourism is stepping out of the comfort zone and experiencing something that he's not used to. So for a person living in a village, rural tourism is no adventure because that's the life he lives. But for an urban person, going and experiencing rural lives is adventure because they are not exposed to it. So the whole idea of adventure tourism is about creating opportunities which exist locally and figuring out markets where those experiences can be sold. So I think that's where I look at adventure tourism as a sector, that if you can find local opportunities and create needs which are locally available, but cater them and deliver them to an audience which is not experiencing them, then you have a market for them. I would like to thank Srimati Pravita Parida, who is the Deputy Chief Minister, Orissa government, who is also the Minister of Tourism, Women, Child Development and Mission Shakti, Government of Odisha, as the chief guest here today. Our guest of honor, Ba Paul Lingdo, Honorable Minister of Tourism, Government of Meghalaya. He has been giving his unwavering support for this event. His vision to develop tourism in Meghalaya and the adjoining areas is unparalleled. And it is with his support that we have been able to create this platform and bring people from all over India to bring ideas and concepts to this part of the country. This platform enables a meeting between governments, between public and private sector players, between emerging young entrepreneurs and professionals in the tourism industry to learn and share ideas and discuss concepts. Our role is just to facilitate this meeting and to take this message across. And when I talk about taking this message across, I can share right now, this conference is trending on Twitter. And my colleagues will probably share the details with you on the screen in a short while. They're just putting it together. It is also being live streamed across Indian Express and Financial Express channels and on YouTube and Facebook. So whatever we are discussing here is not just limited to 300, 400 people who are attending this conference, but is available online to a vast majority of people from all over the world. And it will be available on our website for access later on as well. I cannot not mention Mr. Cyril Dalong, who is an IAS officer, Director of Tourism, Government of Meghalaya, and he is the MD for Meghalaya Tourism. I think he's the brain behind this conference and this concept, and he's also, a lot of background work happens with his support, so thank you, Cyril. And to Cyril, I would like to say that, one small step is all it takes to create a platform like this. Like Majrooh Sultansuri said, मैं अकेला ही चला था जाने बे मंजिल मगर लोग साथ आते गए कारवां बनता गया. So I think that one step that he took, and today we have so many stalwarts from the industry over here. Coming back to the concept of adventure tourism. So for a person like me, doing a trek to the Valley of Flowers 2 months back was adventure. Because I hardly do any walking, I hardly do any running, I have a very sedentary lifestyle. and able to push myself to do a 14-kilometer trek from a 9,000 feet to a 14,000 feet was adventure. Similarly, 6 months back, I was in Bangkok, and the ability to shoot a real firearm was adventure. To ride an ATV in a rough terrain with my kids was part adventure, part family bonding. So the definition of adventure is very, very fluid and liquid. It all depends on what target market you are trying to reach out to and create an adventure for. So I think while we try to create activities, we should be very clearly focused on who is our TG, who is our segment that we are going to target. Are we looking at domestic tourists? Are we looking at international tourists? Are we looking at young tourists? Are we looking at old tourists? 24 years of my career I have spent with Economic Times in the financial domain. And I see a lot of similarity between adventure tourism and investing. So when you are young, you're willing to take risks. You want to invest in stock markets and equities. You want to trade and you want to experiment because you can afford to lose. You'll recover fast. You have the entire life ahead of you. So similarly, young tourists, for them adventure is taking high risks. When I say high risk, doesn't mean safety and precautions are not taken, but they can afford to because if they break a leg, in 2 months they'll probably recover from that. But a 70-year-old person, if he breaks his leg, he'll probably never recover. So the perspective of adventure changes with age, it changes with profile, it changes with your lifestyle, and there is no one caste rule that I think applies to all. And therefore, again coming back to the same thing, it all a fit of the market that you're looking for. And before I end, I would like to formally thank the Government of Meghalaya, Department of Tourism for supporting us, the Government of Odisha, Tourism Department, Uttarakhand Tourism Department, Bodoland Tourism and Uttar Pradesh Tourism, and also the Government of India for supporting this event and enabling us to host it in Meghalaya. Thank you.